Sinners, a 2025 horror film directed by Ryan Coogler, is being hailed as a masterpiece. While some films boast more obvious horror elements and others deliver more thrills, Sinners is still being considered one of the best of 2025. Why? Because it has a profound cultural impact that most horror films simply don't achieve. The movie is packed with symbolism and American historical events, all meticulously woven into the narrative. While it might seem like a standard film to many, it holds a deep significance for certain ethnic groups and nations. Obviously, I won't delve into those specific historical events in this video. Instead, I'll focus on the basic plot and why it's being considered one of 2025's best. Hey guys, I'm Ash. Welcome to my channel. And in this video, I'm going to fully explain the film Sinners. The story opens with a profound statement. Some people are born with a unique blessing, a kind of power. Their music possesses a magic that can tear through the veil between the worlds of the living and the dead. Through their musical enchantment, souls from the past and the future converge. In Old Ireland, they were known as Fili. The Choctaw Indians called them firekeepers, and West Africans called them griots. Their music holds a magic that heals the entire community, strengthens and revitalizes people. However, it also invites dark, demonic forces. This film heavily focuses on music, especially blues. As we know, during a time of rampant racism, black people were enslaved and exploited. From their suffering emerged a unique genre of music called the blues. Ironically, this blues music became incredibly popular, even among white people. The film is called Sinners, echoing a biblical phrase. Likely, we are all sinners, although I can't give you an exact definition. As I mentioned, the film incorporates cultural and religious angles that even I struggle to fully grasp. The year is 1932, October 16th, Mississippi. We see Sammie arrive at a church in a car to meet his father, a reverend. Sammie is in a terrible state, appearing devastated, covered in blood with his guitar broken, clutching only a fragment in his hand. His father embraces him and urges him to turn to religion and abandon his sins. Here, sin refers to his music, which his father believes summons evil. Sammie has a gash on his face, which he probably didn't get from a person. To find out what actually happened, we have to go back 24 hours. We see Sammie working in the fields. These people aren't free. They are forced to work in these fields for minimal pay, day after day. Sammie is kind-hearted and respectful towards everyone. He is quite a quiet lad. On the other hand, we see Sammie's two brothers, Smoke and Stack. They are known as the Smokestack Brothers, and they know how to seize power. Both of them fought in the First World War. They've also worked for a major criminal gang called the Chicago Outfit, so they have extensive knowledge of fighting and general criminal capers. They've got a fair bit of cash and want to use it to buy a sawmill, which they'll turn into a juke joint. A juke joint is a type of community gathering place where people come together for music, dancing, drinking, gambling, and letting their hair down. Smoke and Stack, two twin brothers, buy the derelict sawmill from a man called Hogwood, who they plan to renovate into a juke joint. However, Hogwood is not a good man. He's a racist. We also learn that he's a member of the Ku Klux Klan, who basically terrorize black people. Smoke warns him that if his clanmates cause any trouble, there will be consequences. Smoke and Stack are armed to the teeth. Hogwood claims that he's no longer involved with the Klan and doesn't want any trouble. However, we see him spitting in front of them multiple times during the conversation, which indicates how much he looks down on these people. Then they leave to meet Sammie. Sammie is a great guitarist, but as we saw, Sammie's father, Jed, a religious man, doesn't want Sammie to go. Sammie explains that he's worked in the fields all week and just wants one day to relax and do what he wants. But according to his father, playing guitar is the work of the devil, and one day the devil will come knocking. Anyway, Sammie simply ignores him and goes with Smoke and Stack. They pick up their supplies. As I said, they're building a juke joint. They'll open it tonight. There's loads to do to get people together. Smoke has asked Sammie to keep an eye on Stack because he is a little worried about him, and to watch out for anyone staring at them for too long. Obviously, this is lawless territory. No one likes these people, and no one will investigate if anything happens to them. So they have to look out for each other. Then they arrive at the market, a place called Delta. Stack asks a little girl to watch their car. There are loads of supplies in the car, and they could be nicked at any time. If she sees anyone looking suspicious, she should blow her whistle. She'll get decent money for doing it. Having given the girl the job, he goes to meet his old friends, Bo Chow and Grace. They are both Chinese, and there's a lot of Chinese history in this place. Stack tells them his plan to open a juke joint, also known as a barrel house, where people can spend their money and relax. He's building the place specifically for their own community, specifically freed black men, basically those who have been released from slavery. Grace and Bo have a big shop, and they've been given the responsibility of supplying the juke joint. They'll obviously make a decent profit from it. They agree, and at that moment, the little girl blows her whistle. Stack sees two people trying to steal from the car and shoots them both in the legs. He later sees that one of them is an old friend. Stack has made it clear that he's not to be messed with, and since he shot the geezer, he also paid for his medical bills. Then, Stack and Sammie head to the station to meet someone else. On the way, he asks Sammie to sing him a song, and Sammie shows off his talent. Stack is blown away by Sammie's talent. Stack knows he'll have a good night. He brought Sammie along to play at their juke joint. Of course, they need another pianist. So, they meet a bloke named Delta Slim. He was playing the harmonica, a mouth organ. As I mentioned, these people are in a terrible state. He makes a couple of bob, playing music, and blows it all on booze. Stack makes him an offer, but he isn't having it. He says he's got a regular gig, playing music at a hotel. The bloke's absolutely pissed. Stack's got some Irish beer. It's something completely new to the fella. Stack tells him he can drink as much as he likes if he comes and plays music at their juke joint tonight. The bloke's too drunk to say no. Delta Slim is really chuffed. He and Sammie play a bit of music together, drawing a big crowd. It's basically an advert for their juke joint, and in the crowd, there's another girl called Perline, who's a very good singer, and who Sammie takes a bit of a shine to. Sammie invites her to the juke joint that night. At that moment, another girl called Annie arrives. She wants to speak to Stack directly. We learn that she's Stack's ex-girlfriend. Stack left her. The reason is quite simple. Stack does a lot of dangerous things, and he didn't want his girlfriend to be put in harm's way. Basically, he left Mary for her own good. Although Mary has no real power in this community, although she's white, she wasn't considered superior because her granddad was an African American. As you can see, racism runs deep here. Stack, Sammie, and Delta Slim are driving through the cotton fields, where loads of black people are working and singing together. They are made to work at gunpoint. They're basically slaves. Delta Slim shouts at one of them to put his hand up and sing. The owner of the place fires a shot in the air, and the slave gets scared and starts working again. As I told you, it's from these people that the music we call blues came out. So, the history of this world-famous music isn't exactly a joyous one. Then, they hire another bloke named Cornbread, who will be a bouncer, a guard at the juke joint tonight. Smoke goes to his father's grave. We heard a story that their father never liked these two because their mother died when they were born. Their father was very abusive and used to hit Stack. Smoke stood up to him, and it's likely that they were responsible for their father's death. They never got their father's love, but they loved their father. Smoke goes to meet his ex-wife Annie, who does hoodoo rituals. The old people around here used to do these rituals, a type of magic. Annie loves Smoke and Stack, and thinks that her magic is why these two are still alive. However, Smoke doesn't believe in magic at all. He doesn't like it, because they had a newborn baby who died. If her magic is so good, why couldn't she save her baby? Their relationship didn't last for similar sorts of reasons. They may no longer be husband and wife, but they still have a connection. Annie is a fantastic cook, and Smoke has come to ask her to cook for everyone tonight. So everyone's ready, the supplies are there are people to cook, the doorman is ready, and of course, they have booze and singers. The Juke joint opens tonight, but as the story opened, good music, which brings together every soul from the past and the future, also invites evil. We see a bloke whose body is steaming. He goes to a house to take shelter. A couple lives in the house, and the Irish bloke, who needs help, says that some Indians or Choctaws have killed his family, his wife, and are trying to kill him. He needs help. He needs a place to hide. The bloke who needs help, whose name is Remmick, looks like he's been burned, and he notices a robe in the couple's house, a type of dress that the Klan folks wear, the Ku Klux Klan, who aren't particularly fond of black people or other races. The couple say that no Indians or Choctaws live here. They used to live here decades ago, but not now. They give the bloke shelter, and after a while, some Choctaws arrive. They know that they're looking for a geezer who's dangerous. He looks innocent, but he isn't. They need to catch him now, or it'll be a major problem later. But the couple don't help the Choctaw people. Another person among the Choctaws notices that the sun is going down. It's getting dark. They realize that they can't stay here much longer. They leave. Then the girl in the couple goes to meet her husband, whose name is Bird. But she sees her husband lying on the floor covered in blood, and the bloke she gave shelter to, Remmick, has blood on his face. He says that her husband is resting, and he'll be okay soon, and we see that he is. Their eyes are glowing, and their teeth are showing, and Bird makes his wife his prey. So who are these people? We don't need to think about it too much. They're vampires. Remmick was a vampire, and we saw that these vampires can't stand the sunlight, which is why his whole body was burned and he was steaming. The Choctaws were vampire hunters. They knew that Remmick was a vampire, which is why they left before it got dark. However, there are plenty of reasons for telling the story of the Choctaws and Remmick, who is Irish. As I said, this film basically represents history. Remmick said that he trusted the Choctaws, but they attacked his family. Plenty of similar events have happened in history. The Irish people went through a type of famine. Loads of people died because of a lack of food. At that time, the Choctaws gave them shelter. I don't want to discuss what happened to them in detail under the guise of giving them shelter. So, small historical references are made here, and the film specifically focuses on the people who were mistreated. The African Americans, the Choctaw Indians, who, as you know, were evicted from their own land, and these Irish people, who at one time were sold as white slaves. This is why I said that if you watch this film, there will be loads of things and loads of discussions that may seem completely irrelevant to you. So, let's not discuss history. We just realized that Remmick is a vampire who bit the couple and turned them into vampires. At night, the Juke joint opens. As planned, loads of people arrive. They start spending their money. Sammie and Pearline are getting on very well. They're starting to take a shine to each other. Mary has come too, and we also learn how she got together with Stack. Apparently, Mary's mother raised Stack and Smoke. As I said, the Klan folks, the white people, treated these people terribly. But because of Mary's mother, the Klan members couldn't do anything bad to these two. The party starts, and people start singing. Sammie shows off his magic. As I told you, Sammie's got magic in his voice. The story opens saying that some people are born with a power that can tear through the veil between the worlds of the living and the dead. Sammie's music is bringing together every soul from the past and the future. He's attracting them to this place. We can see old classical blues through to death metal and modern hip-hop. Everything. We can see the cultural impact of music in this little sequence. However, we also heard that the power of music can also attract evil. And we see that Remmick and the couple have also arrived. They try to enter the place, but Cornbread stops them. Remmick knows that they've come to spend their money and to hear the music, but he won't let them in. But these are vampires. Their power peaks at night. Can't they put the frighteners on these geezers? Well, this is where the basic vampire rules come into play. Vampires can't just enter a private property or a normal house. They need to be invited in. Even Count Dracula, the king of the vampires, follows the same rules. They can't enter the house until they've been invited in, which is why Remmick keeps requesting it. They even sing a song with a significant meaning, but I don't want to talk about that. So, they're not let in. On the other hand, the two brothers realize that they won't make much profit from the Juke joint, because they're currently in a Jim Crow economy. These people still don't have the same rights as other people in the country. They can't build their own major businesses, and they can't make any real profit from them. Other people pay in dollars, but these freed people, these black people, pay through company script. Basically, they're being disempowered so that they can't become major businessmen. The two brothers are worried. They won't make the amount of money they wanted to make. Then Mary starts saying that the geezers who came to sing a bit earlier won't pay through company script. They'll pay in real dollars, which is what they need right now. So Mary goes to talk to them. The three people, Remmick and the couple, are singing a good song. Mary only wants to say one thing to them, but the blokes start discussing something else. Mary is obviously sad because she loves Stack, but Stack isn't accepting it. He has loads of problems, and they use these problems to try to bring Mary onto their side. Mary doesn't understand what they're talking about, and then she sees that Remmick's drooling. Their conversations are not right. Mary shows them her gun and tells them to leave. At that moment, Remmick attacks Mary. Mary then comes back. She asks Cornbread if he'll let her in. Cornbread knows Mary and lets her in. Mary goes to meet Stack, and Stack knows that the geezers have some gold coins, which he gave to Mary. We also saw the same gold coins in Remmick's hand, who gave them to the couple for giving him shelter in their house. We all know when these gold coins were used, how long ago. Remmick still has these gold coins. This shows how old he is, how ancient. Anyway, Stack's really pleased. Mary starts seducing him, and they go to a personal room. Cornbread goes to the toilet. He needs a wee. But he hears some weird noises in the jungle. Mary's been infected. We know that. She's drooling. But Stack can't see it. He's lost in romance, which is why no one's disturbing the couple. But then, Smoke arrives. There was a problem in their kitchen, and he wants to discuss it with his brother. When he enters, he sees Mary sitting on top of Stack, drinking his blood. Smoke sees this and shoots Mary a few times, but Mary gets up and runs away. Stack's been badly wounded and has lost a lot of blood, and dies soon after. He asks Annie to use her hoodoo magic to heal his brother, but he knows that it's not possible. The Juke joint is shut down immediately, and people are told to leave. Party's over for tonight. On the other hand, they don't understand what's going on. Sammie heard Mary say that we'll finish you all off. She was alone. So who did she mean by a we? Annie understands the situation, which is why she tells Smoke to put Stack's body outside or lock him in a room. The Chinese couple, Grace, says that they need to leave. She says that they just came here to help with the Juke joint, that's it. The party's over. She's going to leave. She can feel that something bad's going to happen. She asks her husband, and Bo goes outside to get the car. The doorman, Cornbread, who went to the toilet, is back. He's standing outside. Everyone's asking him where he was when all this was happening. He knows it took him a while to do number 1 and number 2. Now he wants to come in so that he can help everyone. Everyone is a bit suspicious of this. Cornbread's one of them. Why does he need to be invited in? Why do they need to move aside for him? He can just come in. Annie realizes that he's dead, but Cornbread won't admit it. He's in full control of his senses. He's trying to make Annie look crazy. Eventually, they have a bit of a row, and Cornbread says that he won't come in. He wants the money from Smoke that he was promised for his work, so he can leave. When Smoke reaches out to give him the money, Cornbread tries to bite his hand, but Smoke shoots him in time. Everyone realizes that Cornbread has been infected. And as I said, the rules are they can't enter without an invitation. On the other hand, Stack, who died a bit earlier, has come back to life. Smoke thinks that his brother has come back, but Annie knows that it's not his brother. His pulse stopped. He lost loads of blood. How could he have been resurrected? The funny thing is that these people are reacting normally. Their life is gone, but they still have all their memories. Anyway, Stack breaks down the door and comes out. Annie throws some garlic water on his face. It's also in the old folklore that vampires can't stand garlic, which is why Stack runs out of the building. Annie explains the stories she's heard, the stories of vampires. The bloke is dead, but his soul is still in his body. It's a curse, and the only way to release him is to completely destroy him. But how? They can't stand sunlight. A sharp wooden object will work if you hit them directly in the chest, or silver can be used to restrain them. Annie asks Smoke to promise her that if Annie turns or is infected, Smoke will kill her. Annie doesn't want this curse. She wants to go to their dead daughter. On the other hand, the vampire Remmick has built his own clan. This film doesn't show vampires in the typical way that we see in other films. As we heard in Remmick's story, he's Irish, who have a sad history. These Black Americans are also oppressed people. So the vampires haven't come to show their power. Instead, they're trying to build their own group. Of course, this is a horror film, but we can consider a lot of things here as metaphors. When these abused people, these oppressed people, think about revolting, when they think about rebelling, the vampire group is that type of group. Every single thing that Remmick said was true. He didn't lie to anyone. The people in the house have all eaten garlic so that the vampires won't be able to drink their blood. On the other hand, Grace's husband, Beau, has come to call his wife. Cornbread is killing another person, but Beau is just standing there. Obviously, this is normal for him, because Beau has also turned. He's also a vampire, and he's telling his wife to come outside. Remmick then speaks to Grace himself. Remmick is why this illness has spread to everyone. Everyone has become a vampire. So everyone's memories are in Remmick's head. Remmick even starts speaking to Grace in Chinese. He also tells Grace that if Grace doesn't come out, he'll go to their store, where their daughter, Liza, is. Grace gets angry. They don't have to work hard. They just have to invite Remmick or them in. That's it. What's the problem with doing that? The heaven they're looking for after death, they'll get that heaven here on earth. They'll get immortality. They'll live forever. They'll be able to change this world. Obviously, these people are all oppressed. They all want to be free. But they also know that they won't get freedom so easily. They have to take it. Remmick says that they can achieve freedom together. Smoke opened this big juke joint, and it was built on lies. He bought this sawmill from a bloke named Hogwood, who's the head of the clan, the Ku Klux Klan. Hogwood's nephew is here. Remmick went to the couple's house, where they saw the clan robe. And Remmick has got their memories. Hogwood will come with his people tomorrow morning to kill everyone in this place. Stack comes back. He tells his brother that the freedom they're looking for, they want it to make loads of money, start a new life. They'll never be able to start that life here. The only way to get freedom is if they invite these people, these vampires, in. Stack has made it clear that he wants to spend this new life with his brother. He wants Smoke to join him, and their words are so influential that everyone is trying to leave. Grace is really worried about her little daughter. Her husband is outside infected, and she can't stay locked inside like this. She's a mother who'll do anything for her daughter, and in her rage, she invites these people in so that she can fight them. And this is their biggest mistake. Grace shouts and invites them in, and the chaos starts. Grace dies herself, but she kills her husband. Loads of people are killed by the vampires, and loads of people kill the vampires. Stack bites Annie. Annie asked Smoke to promise that she didn't want to become a vampire, and that she wanted to meet her daughter. Smoke keeps his promise and kills Annie so that she doesn't turn into a vampire. Eventually, Smoke and Sammie are the only ones left. Remmick only came here for Sammie, the vampire. He even made them a deal that he'd let everyone go if they handed over Sammie. Why? Because Sammie has the power. He has the talent that can bring Remmick's ancestors together in this place. Remmick wants to unite his ancestors, his loved ones, his family. He wants to call their souls, and Sammie's music can do that. Remember, we heard that music, that the power he has can bring together every soul from the past and the future. Remmick knows that. On the other hand, Smoke and Stack are fighting. We notice that Stack isn't attacking his brother properly. He wants his brother to join his side. They even argue during the fight. At one point, we see that Stack tries to bite Smoke, but he can't because Smoke is wearing a type of bone around his neck that Annie gave him. The funny thing is that Smoke didn't believe in Annie's magic, in hoodoo, but the bone she gave him has saved him from the bite. Smoke is about to strike Stack in the chest with a wooden object, and he says one last thing. "Forgive me, I couldn't protect you this time." This basically means that Smoke has protected his younger brother Stack from everything. Eventually, fate has it that he's going to kill his brother. Then Stack says that you don't need to say sorry. You've been doing it all my life, protecting me. This means that he is a vampire, but they are conscious. They are still minded. They know what they're doing. They know what's wrong and what's right. On the other hand, Remmick has caught Sammie. He wants Sammie's talent, the power of his music. The gash Sammie had on his face was because of Remmick. It was from his nails. Sammie starts reading some phrases from the Bible, thinking that these are evil. But Remmick is saying the holy lines himself. No spells will work on him. Remmick says that those people force them to say these words. They baptize them by saying them. We get another historical reference from this, of how those Irish people were forced to follow a religion. Sammie then hits Remmick in the face with his guitar, and the guitar has a silver plate in it, which gets stuck in Remmick's head. The guitar is why the devils came here, and a piece of the guitar is what he used to hit Remmick. But that wasn't enough. Eventually, Smoke arrives and shoves the wooden object directly into Remmick's chest. By then, the sun has risen, which kills every vampire in that place. The next morning, Smoke gives Sammie the car keys and tells him to go home and bury the guitar. Sammie takes the car and goes to the church where his father is. The story started there. On the other hand, Smoke is still there because he still has something to do. The bloke who he bought the house from is going to come here with his people to kill them all in the morning, and he's waiting for them. They arrive in time, but Smoke has made some preparations and shoots them all dead. Smoke has been shot in the stomach during the fight. The wound is really deep. Smoke realizes that his time has come, and that the dream he saw may not come true, but he saw another dream, with him and Annie. We see Annie with her little daughter. She asks Smoke to pick up his daughter, and Smoke picks up his daughter, which indicates that Smoke has finally died. On the other hand, Sammie meets his father, and his father said that one day this guitar will summon the devil. He keeps telling his son to throw away the guitar and come and pray with him, but Sammie doesn't throw it away. Instead, he holds the broken piece of guitar to his chest and drives away. A lot of time has passed. 60 years have passed. Sammie is now an old man, and he's performing on stage. He's really famous, and at the end of the performance, he's taking a rest. Then some people come to meet him. Sammie knows who they are. They're Stack and Annie. Those who were in that night, those who died when the sunlight came out. But those two somehow escaped somewhere and survived. And they look the same today. Their look and style has changed over time. And Stack has come to give Sammie the same offer. Sammie is getting old. He's ill. He doesn't have long left. Which is why Stack is telling him that if he wants, he can take his suffering away from him. He can become immortal. But Sammie says no. All these years have passed, and they haven't said anything to Sammie, because Smoke and Stack had a fight that night. Smoke didn't kill his brother. Instead, he told his brother that he wouldn't do anything if he left Sammie alone. Which is why Stack hasn't said anything to Sammie all this time. He promised his brother. Sammie sings them a good song, and they say goodbye to Sammie again, and we're about to leave. Then Sammie tells them that he's getting old, and that one morning he may wake up and remember the nightmare that happened 60 years ago. But that day, Sammie was as free as he could be. The way Sammie felt, he's never felt like that in his life. That day, he sang his heart out. He asked Stack if he'll ever be able to feel that. Stack knows that he misses his brother. That day, he and his brother were as free as they could be. They were all happy. That day, he and his brother felt the sun for the last time. Stack originally said that the curse was freedom, but he eventually realized that it wasn't actually freedom. It was a curse that he's stuck in. The story ends with a slight smile on old Sammie's face. We saw the same smile on Sammie's face 60 years ago, when he was going to the Juke joint full of hope to sing. And the film Sinners ends there. Perhaps the video wouldn't have been so long if I had just told you the plot of the film. But by just telling you the plot, it wouldn't have been possible to show you how deep this film is. What messages this film is trying to give you. Of course, I won't be able to explain 100% of the film in this video. As I said, there are loads of references that are particularly irrelevant to me, which is why I definitely won't be able to explain them. But I've tried my best, and I hope that I've been able to make you understand. And I hope that you've enjoyed the video. If you have, then make sure you let me know in the comments. You can like it if you want, and you can subscribe to the channel if you want. And don't forget to follow me on social media. Every link is in the description. See you there. My video is just this for now. I'm signing off. See you in another video next time. Until then, take care, stay safe, take care, and bye.